coming. My return home made my parents very happy and created a buzz among colony aunties and old lovers for a while, but there was nothing left for me to do there. The air felt dull, TV and Facebook became my new best friends, and my phone pinged all the time from friends I did not even know existed back in college. I craved to start my job. My mum was on an extensive mission of fulfilling all her motherly duties by stuffing me with ghee and oily food along with the constant worries over my physical weakness, presumed. She sincerely believed that 4 years of my college life had robbed me of my health and glowing skin, and only copious quantities of home-cooked food could save me from my doom. My dad would try to strike forced conversations with me once he returned from his office to make up for all those lost years of communication with his only child. But we ended up watching the news together after a little discussion over current affairs and national politics. Only to move apart again once Mom would call us to dinner. We would collect our plates and settle ourselves before the TV in the bedroom again, ignoring my mother's constant rants and curses at my father for teaching me some seriously bad manners. After some sincere efforts, she stopped calling us out, and would serve us food right there in the bedroom. Admittedly, my parents were much cooler than most Indian parents. They never asked me about my future plans or gave me the standard lecture about getting married which most college graduates receive in India. Also, the perks of being the only child meant I would always be a baby in their eyes. Those idle days of lazing around reminded me of Captain Virat again. I tried very hard to stalk him, but he was nowhere to be found. What kind of person doesn't exist on Facebook? Only ghosts. I even received 2 wedding invitation cards from my batchmates while I was still looking for a suitable boy to date. Some batchmates even got their joining letters and happily WhatsApped about it on our college group. Those of us who were still awaiting their joining dates thoroughly cursed and congratulated them half-heartedly. I missed my college terribly. You get this strange feeling once you leave your college, like you will miss not just the place and people but also miss the person you were at that time, because you will never be that way ever again. So when I got an invitation for the college convocation ceremony, I enthusiastically packed my bags for a brief stay at my alma mater. The reunion began with hugs and kisses among friends. The trunk of memories was opened mercilessly. We laughed, complained and blamed. That day was dedicated to the nights that turned into mornings with the friends that turned into family, and we agreed unanimously that our college times were legendary, and nothing could replace those memories. The convocation was organized on a very large scale, and Mr. Amitabh Bachchan was the chief guest, and his speech was mesmerizing. He said, "For what it's worth, it is never too late to be whoever you want to be. I hope you live a life you're proud of, and if you are not, I hope you have the strength to start over. Every dream is supposed to be hard. If it's not hard, everyone would do it. The hard is what makes it great. Believe in it and stand for it." His speech was followed by the distribution of degrees and medals and a grand dinner. The next day, we bid our goodbyes with tears in our eyes and a heaviness in our hearts. We exchanged numbers and promised to meet soon. At that time, you think the best days of your life are in front of you. And you decide what they will be and aim to take control of it. No apologies or excuses. No one to lean on or to blame. The cage has been opened and you're a free bird ready to fly high in the sky, but little do you realize that the sky is endless, and you will always crave to go back into that cage. The carefree days of chirping around were long gone. Life begins at the end of your college life, and you miss college for the rest of your life. College life was over and the reality of growing up was still sinking in. People had expectations from me for taking initiative and carrying out responsibilities, of what I would do in my career 5 years down the line and who I'd get married to. These were the side effects of staying at home for a long duration. Even the bai would ask about my pay package, and Sharma uncle would always be inquisitive about my ability to pay rent from my own pocket. Gupta auntie's hawk eyes would look at me as if I were a bride over the expiry date, which would make my parents restless. The aunties of our times have a weird theory that getting married at the right age is more important than marrying the right person. There also came a time where my mother insisted I learn some basic culinary skills which she thought would be more important to me after my wedding than my engineering degree. I also attended some of the Mohalla weddings and mingled with the guys who had once been roadside Romeos, and now had turned out as respectable shopwallas. In my school days, they had shamelessly hovered around me, circling around me on their bikes while some ogled at me, standing in a nook or under a tree. I had loathed them once, but now I found them adorable. They looked at me like I was a diva, way out of their league. The cold drinks would never stop arriving and snack plates would be filled at those weddings. The nostalgia was really overwhelming. They never judged me for my cooking skills or marital status, just put me on a higher pedestal. It felt great. But my mom and Gupta auntie shot me disapproving looks, and soon my mother stopped taking me to weddings. Perhaps her ideas about finding the perfect groom at weddings, like it happens in Bollywood, were shattered. I would sleep for hours, soaking my soft pillow with saliva, getting up way past afternoon. Brush slowly and blast music while bathing. The room would be a mess and most of my clothes were usually on the floor instead of in the wardrobe. Not that I needed many, my shorts and, "I don't care," printed tee would suffice for days. My mother had now relegated to me the task of bringing home the groceries, accompanying her for vegetable shopping from the weekly hot and witness the ultimate adventures of robbing the poor sabjiwala over a stiff bargain and extra nimbu mirchi. I would also quickly run to the local sweet shop for samosa and rasgul if any unannounced guest would visit us. I felt truly accomplished now that I was helping my mom, and most importantly, my mother suddenly thought of me as an important and responsible person. No degree can ever raise you in your mother's eyes as much as a simple round of vegetable shopping can do. Often, I would slip out of my house for sutta breaks in the most abandoned nooks of my colony. Despite the disgusted looks from the shopkeeper, who also sold cigarettes to my father, those sutta shots felt very fulfilling. But he never told on me, being a true professional. One day, I was smoking under the neighborhood banyan tree when Gupta auntie saw me. She had come to light her Shani Dev Ka Diya laden with pure mustard oil, believed to ward off the evil eye. I don't know about Gupta auntie, but Shani Dev definitely looked pleased with me. After that incident, Gupta auntie's groom hunting for me stopped altogether, and she even stopped visiting our house. Thankfully, she never said anything to Mom. It was not like I was a smoker. I only did it because I was bored. God never shuts all doors at once. Just when you think you're in the middle of doomsday, He will show you the path to salvation or send some angel to drag you out of your misery. And this happened to me. Finally, I got my joining dates and would soon be on a plane to the city which never sleeps, Mumbai. I was happy, excited about the fact that I would soon be leaving, but suddenly the laid-back attitude in my home changed. Things turned emotional. My mom stopped ranting about my laziness or the mess in my room. She cooked all my favorite dishes, ditching the dreaded torai, lauki, saag which I hated. The days flew by and soon I was packing my bags. My mother would not stop crying. Dad took the day off work, something he hadn't done in decades. Honestly, I felt like crying too. I hugged them tightly, kissed my mother a lot, tried to cheer them up as they waved me goodbye at the airport. It was harsh. I suddenly felt lonely and insecure. I had just left my whole universe back at home. The same home where only a few months ago I was dying of boredom. Indian parents never express their unconditional love to their kids, but their kids mean the world to them. They talk about you every day to everyone when you are not around and feel content when you are around. You occupy all your mother's heart and your father's mind. We are not just bonded by blood but also by love. True love.